Okay,
can read
okay,
out.
9. All three of the above mentioned stages or different living entities are interdependent. In the absence of one, another is not understood. But the Supreme Being, who sees everyone in them as the shelter of the shelter, is independent in all, and therefore he is the supreme shelter.
Yeah, adibotic, adidevic, adiatmic, they are totally interdependent to one another. Why is that? Srila Prabhupada explained very nicely in the purport. Uh, this is second sentence of the purport. Without the medium of perception, no one can know or understand who is controlled and who is not controlled. If you don't perceive, you don't even know what's going on. 214, matras pashas tukonteya, shitoshna sukha dukadaha. Matras pashas weak by sense perception. Oh, it's very hard today. It's very cold today. You cannot make out. If you have no senses, you cannot even relate. Is it cold? No. You cannot even feel the coldness. The soul never feels the coldness or the hotness. You need senses. You need a body because of the air, because of your hairs on your body, on your skin. You can perceive. You can feel the coldness of the air. Otherwise, if you have no skin, nothing. You cannot distinguish nothing. Know or understand who is the controlled and who is the controller. Example, the sun controls the power of our vision. We can see the sun because the sun has its body. You see the globe in the sky. And the sunlight is useful only because we have eyes. If you have no body, how you have no eyes, you cannot see the sun. It's quite simple in one sense. Thus, they are interdependent. We need one of the three to get the other two. Naturally, the question arises: who made them interdependent? There's someone who is beyond those three. What are those three? Adibotic, Adidevic, Adiatmic. The one who has made such a relationship of interdependence must be ultimately completely independent. We know this is Krishna. Swarat. Krishna is 111. Swarat is the ultimate source of all interdependent objectives. So there is two shelter in one sense. The Jiv, we are Jivas. We are the first Ashraya, but the ultimate Ashraya is mentioned in 9. Swashraya Shraya, the shelter of the shelter. That's paramount. And now in 9, Srila Prabhupada gives an argument to defeat Mayavadisms. Some people say, well, we know they are extremely fallen argument to say, well, there's no difference between the Jiv and the super soul. So Prabhupada defeats them by saying, well, the individual soul is dependent on the super soul for being liberated. My dear sir, if you say that we are not different from super soul, how come you need God to be liberated from the illusion of material energy? We are under the clutches of Maya. Paramatma is not. Okay, so do you have any question? Because I can see you're very silent. They are mutually dependent, in effect, from one another. Again, why? Prabhupada explained in 9, all the acharyas explain the same, Jiva Goswami, Vishwanath. Without the presence of the visible object, there is no basis for the existence of your sense organ or of the deity. If you have, again, if you have no senses, how can you see the world? How can you see the sense object? It's quite simple. You can only see the sense objects because you have sense organs. If you have no sense organs, you cannot even acknowledge the presence of the sun. So all those three are extremely interdependent to one another. Without the sun in the sky, the sense of sight cannot act. And without the sense of sight, there is no perception. So in the absence of any one of the three, you cannot find the other two. So who knows those three? Who knows those three? Again, what are those three? Adhyadvik, Adhidevik, Adhibhutik. The person who knows those three is the Jiv. But beyond the Jivatma, who is the Jiv finds shelter in the supreme shelter, that is the super soul. Sva Shraya Shraya, the shelter of the shelter. In other words, the super soul shelters the Jivas, plus he shelters himself. Is his own shelter. You know? He has no other shelter. So there is safe, the pure soul, and even the pure soul takes shelter in the Paramatma. So there is, yes, there's a partial non-difference between the Jiva and the super soul. In the sense, one is Amshi, and the Paramatma is Amshi, God is Amshi, and we are Amsh. Krishna says in the Gita 15:7, we are all Amshas of the Lord. Anyway, I don't want to